Hey everyone, my name is Faizan Khan, and in this video you will be learning how to create a student management system using Python and MySQL database. So this is the login system for that student management system. So from here the user will type the username and will enter the password. So if you don't enter any username or any password and directly try to click on this login button, it will give you this error message that fields cannot be empty, right? So once you enter the username and password, suppose if I enter any random username and random password and try to log in it will say that invalid username or password. Okay, so you will have to enter the correct username and password, then only you will be able to log in. So the correct username is my name and the correct password is 1234. So now if I try to log in, it says welcome Faizan. Okay, if I click on OK, you see this is the student management system that we will be creating step by step. So at the top here you can see the current date and current time. Then here you see this student management system text. Okay, and at the top on the right hand side you see this connect to database. So first step is to connect to database, then only we will be able to add students or search students or delete students, or we can update students, right? Or we can display students, or we can export data of students. So right now you can either click on this connect to database or you can simply exit. So if I try to connect to database, here I need to enter the host name, username and the password. So host name is nothing but the local host. Okay, username is my name and the password is 1234. So if I click on connect, it says invalid details. Okay, so if you won't enter the correct details, it will tell you that the details are invalid. So I think instead of Faizan username, the correct username was root. So if I try with this one, so now you can see that you are now connected with the database. Successful message is displayed here. So once I click on OK, you can see all these buttons are now enabled. So you can use all these buttons here. So first of all, let me just see how many students are already registered, like how many students data is already there in the database, MySQL database. So if I click on this show students, you can see these are the students whose data is already present in this MySQL database. Okay, so I can see the horizontal view here. Okay, so you can see what are the details that I have added. Firstly we have ID, then name, mobile number, email, address, gender, date of birth, added date and added time. Okay, so these are the details. Now so this is the way to see how many students are already present in the database. Okay, but if you want to add some new students, so you can simply click on this add a student. Here you need to enter the ID. Okay, and ID has to be unique. Like if you will try to enter ID from here, like if you try to enter ID number 5, then it won't add your data to the database. Okay, so ID has to be unique. So let me try ID number 6 because 6 is not there. Then I can try some name here like Shadab. Okay, some phone number, and then some email ID. Similarly address, then gender is male and date of birth is 5 July. Okay, suppose I have entered all these details, and now once I click on the submit button, it says ID 6 and name Shadab added successfully. Do you want to clean the form? So if you want to clean the form, you will select this yes option, and if you don't want to clean the form, just select this no option. So I want to clean the form, so I'll select yes. So once you clean the form, you can see Shadab with ID 6 is registered here, right? So this is the data that you can see. Okay, so all the details, ID, name, mobile number, everything is registered here. So this is how you can add some new student data, okay, in your database. Similarly, if you have a lot of data here in your database and you want to search for some particular student, suppose if I try to search for Alia, okay, so I'll simply go to this search button, okay, and here I can search Alia with ID, name, phone number, email address, okay, email address or particular home address or gender or date of birth, any out of these, okay. So let's search Alia with ID. So if I enter 4 here and if I click on search, you can see we are getting Alia result, okay. So since ID is unique, so we are getting just one result here, okay. Similarly, if you want to search students who are female or students who are male, you can simply enter the gender here and click on the search button. So you will see all the members who are male here, okay, all the students who are male. Okay, now if you want to delete any student, like if I want to delete this Varun from here, okay, so I'll select Varun and I'll click on this delete student, so it will simply delete that particular row, okay. So this is deleted from your database. And in the same way, if you want to update any student details, okay, like if I want to update this fifth number, so I'll simply select this and click on this update student, and here whatever you want to update you can update. Like for example, if I want to change the address from Lucknow to Delhi, I can do that, okay. Once I do the changes, I can simply click on this update button and it will simply be updated here. So now if I show you the address of Faizan, you can see here it's Delhi now, okay. So this is how you can update the data. After that, you can also export this complete data, or you can export based on your search. Like if you want to export data of only females, okay, suppose if I want to export data of females in Excel file, okay, so there are only 3 females and I want to add these 3 females data in my Excel file. So I'll simply click on this export data button, and from here I'll just provide the name that this is the female data, okay, and I'll save it on my desktop. I'll click on the save button and you can see it is saved successfully. So let me just show you if it is saved on my desktop or not. So here you can see this is our females data. If I open it, here you can see the details, okay, right. I hope you have understood. So these are all the details of females, okay. So this is how it works. Then at last we have this exit button. So if I'll click on this exit, it will ask me, do you want to exit? So if I'll say no, nothing will happen. But if I'll say yes, this window will be closed, okay. So this is our project that we will be creating step by step from scratch. So I hope you're gonna like it, okay. Just follow along. If you'll have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you. Okay, so let's start by building this login form first of all, okay. So here, as you can see, we need to firstly create a GUI window, and on that GUI window we need to add one background image. This is the background image that I have used, and on that I'll be adding this logo and then this username, password and its corresponding entry fields, and then this login button. So these things we'll see how we can create all this, okay. So I hope in your system Python and some editor which can be Pycharm is already installed, okay. If you don't have these two, then you can simply check the video links given in the description of this video, okay. From there you can install Python and Pycharm and then you can continue watching this video, okay. So what I'll do, once you'll open your Pycharm, you need to go to this file, select new project. Here you need to provide project folder name. It can be student management system or anything, okay. Student management system, okay. Let me add YT also for YouTube because I already have the same folder name. Okay, so now I just need to click on this create button and I want this project to open on a new window. So our project is getting ready here. So once this is done, next step is to create a Python file inside which you will write your code. So just right click on this folder name and select this Python file. And here you can give the Python file name as main or any name of your choice. Okay. So this is the Python file inside which we will be writing our code. So first of all, as I told you, we will be creating a window, right? And on that window, we will be adding one background image. So let's see how we can create this. So for creating a graphical user interface, we have one library which is Tkinter, which is inbuilt actually. Okay, so we do not need to install it. It comes with Python interpreter only. So you just need to import it. Okay, so the way is you will have to write from Tkinter import asterisk. So this line means that you are importing all the classes and methods which are present inside this Tkinter module. So Tkinter module is nothing but a file where all the classes and the methods are defined which help us in creating graphical user interface. Okay, so you can assume that this is a file inside which we have lots of classes and methods which help us in creating graphical user interface very easily. Okay, so for creating window, we have a class inside this module. Okay, and the class name is TK. Okay, this class will help you in creating graphical user interface, your window basically. Okay, so basically you have to create object of this class, and object name can be anything, like for example root or window or maybe your name. Okay, so this is how you create object of TK class. Okay, you take the class and assign it to some variable. Once you create object of TK class, then you need to use one of the method present inside this TK class. Okay, and that method can be accessed with the help of this object variable window. So we'll use this window dot main loop. So this main loop method is present inside this class. Okay, and we can access it with this variable, with the help of this variable. So this variable dot main loop method. So what this main loop method will do, it will simply keep your window on a loop, okay, so that you can see it continuously. Now if I will run it, so just right click and run main, you can see we are getting our window here. Okay, but if I don't use this line, you won't be able to see the window. If I run it now, you can see the code ended successfully, right? We were not able to see the window. So in order to see your window, you need to put it on a loop so that you can see it continuously. So that's why we use this main loop method. After this, we need to add some width and the height to our window. So by default, this is the width and the height. Okay, so how can we set the width and the height? We have another method inside this TK class. So we'll use that method with the help of this window object. So we'll write window dot geometry. Okay, and to this geometry method, we will be passing the width and the height in the form of a string. Okay, so width that I have used in my original project is 1280, then small x, then 700 is the height. Okay, so now if I run it, you will see that the width and the height is increased here. Okay, so I hope you understood it. Now if I run it again, you will see that every time you will run, you will see the different position of your window. Okay, but if you want to fix it, we can do that. Like if I want my window to start from 0th position only every time I run the code, then what you will have to do, you will have to mention +0 and +0. So this plus 0 is nothing but the distance from the x-axis, okay, of your window, and this 0 is the distance from the y-axis of your window, okay. So this is the geometry. Now after adding the width and the height, I want one more thing to happen. So this is the maximize button. If I click on it, you can see its size is getting changed, okay. Since we have already fixed the window size, so I don't want its size to be changed when I click on the maximize button. So I want to disable that maximize button. So what is the way? For that also we have a class method inside this tk class, okay. So we'll use that method. So we'll write window dot resizable, and to this resizable method we will pass false value for the width and false value for the height, like this. Now if I'll run it, you will see the maximize button is disabled, and now you cannot change the window size. It's of fixed size now, okay. After that you need to add the background image, okay. So I will be providing you the link in the description of this video. So you need to click on that link and download all the files that are required in this project, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to my original project, and from there I'm going to copy the background image, okay, that I have used in my original project, and I'll paste here. You also need to do the same thing, okay. And let me also tell you from where I got this image, okay. So you can simply go to your web browser, and there you can simply search for pixels.com website, okay. And from here you can search for some background images, and you can download any image of your choice, whichever you like, okay. So from here only I got that image, and I downloaded it. I resized it using paint, or you can use some online tool to resize it, okay. So this is the size of that JPEG image that I have downloaded. You can also use PNG image if you want, okay. So since I am using JPEG image here, so JPEG image cannot be directly used in the code. So in order to use JPG or JPEG images, we will have to install one external module, which is Pillow, okay. So what you guys have to do, just go to your terminal, and there you need to type pip install Pillow, like this, and hit enter. So it will be successfully installed. So once this is installed, you just need to import it, okay. So how you have to import it, you'll have to write from pil, okay. This is nothing but Python image library, okay. So from pil you need to import image tk, okay, image tk, like this. So this is nothing but the class which will help you to import JPG images in your code, okay. If you will be using PNG image, then you don't have to install this Pillow module, okay. Then you don't require this image tk class. So once you do that, next thing is that we need to import this image in our code. So the way is, we'll be using image tk, the class that we imported, okay, dot photo image, okay, photo image, and to this photo image we need to pass the file name that you need to import in your code. So the file name is bg.jpg, okay. So basically you will have to create its object. So the object name can be anything like background image, okay. So this image will now be represented by this variable. So this is the way of importing any image in your code, Okay, after importing this image, now you need to add this image on your window, right? So for adding image or text on your window, you will have to use a label, and on that label you will have to add this image. So firstly we will be creating a label, and on that label we will be adding this background image. Okay, so the way of creating a label is by using the label class. So this label class is present inside this Tkinter module. Okay, so we can use this label class and it will create label for us, and on that label we can add this background image. Okay, so where you want to see this label, first thing you need to mention that inside these parentheses. So I want to see this label on my window, so I'll mention window here. Okay, next thing, I want to see image on this label, so I'll mention image and the image name, which is background image. As I told you, this image is represented by this variable now. Okay, so we need to create object of this label, so it can be bg label for background label. Okay, it can be any name of your choice. So this is the bg label. Now I need to place it in order to see it on our window, because if I will run at this stage, you won't be able to see that label or image. The reason is because we have just created a label. Okay, but we also need to tell our window that where you want to see this label. Okay, so in order to do that, we have a method inside this label class, okay, which help us in placing our image or our label on the screen, on the window. Okay, so I'll use this bg label dot place method. So there is this place method where we need to mention the x and the y values, x coordinate value and y coordinate value. So since we want the image to start from the starting position from the top right corner, so the top right corner coordinates are 0 comma 0. Okay, so x will be 0 and y will also be 0. So now if I run it, now you can see we are able to see the image on our window, right? And the image is starting from this position, and this position is nothing but 0 comma 0. If I change these dimensions here, like for example if I change it to 50 and this one also 50, so now the image will start from 50 comma 50 coordinate. Okay, this is the position, right? But we want to see the image from the starting position, that's why we have mentioned x0 and y0. I hope this is clear to you, right? So this is how you add a background image. Now after adding the background image, after that let me just show you what we need to create. Yeah, so once the background image is added, now we need to add this logo label. Okay, and all this complete thing that you see, logo label, username, corresponding fields, and this button, all these is inside a frame. So I will be creating a frame, and inside that frame I will be adding this logo. Okay, and then I will be adding these text, okay, and these corresponding fields and this button inside that particular frame only. So let me first create a frame. So frame can be created with the help of a frame class. So frame is nothing but a kind of container inside which we keep our labels or buttons. Okay, so this is the frame and you want it inside your window only, right? So that's why I'm passing window here. After that, I'll have to give some name to this frame. Basically we are creating object of this frame, so it will be login frame. So this frame is nothing but the container that we created. Okay, and inside this frame we will be adding that logo image, then some labels where the label name will be username, password, then entry fields. Okay, and then that particular button. So we need to place this login frame also. Okay, so everything that we create like frame or label or button, okay, we need to place them on our window. So we will use login frame dot place method. Okay, and here we will again mention the x value and the y value. So x value would be 400 and the y value would be 150. Okay, so these are the values that I have taken in my original project. So if I run, you will not be able to see that frame because it's just a container. Okay, but once we will be adding logo and other things, you will see that particular frame. Okay, so firstly let me just add uh, that logo image. Okay, firstly we need to import logo image that you will be adding on a label. As I told you, you cannot directly add image. Okay, you will have to firstly create a label and on that label you can add the image. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just give a name here that this is nothing but a logo image. Okay, and I'll be using photo image class to import that image. Okay, and I'll mention the file name. Since I will be downloading PNG image, so that's why I am not applying this class image tk dot. Okay, this is applied only when you are using JPG image. Okay, so if I'm using PNG image, then only photo image class is sufficient. Okay, and here you need to mention the image name that you want to import. So firstly you will be downloading the image, then you will be adding that image in this particular folder, and then you will mention the name here. So let me tell you from where you can download that image. So just go to your browser and search for flaticon.com website. Once you go there, just search for student or anything similar to that. So you will be getting these images. Okay, from here whichever you want, whichever you like if you want to use this one, you can simply click on this one and then you can select the size 64px. Let me just check in my original project what is the image size that I have used. So this is 150 cross 150 png. Okay, so I think you can use 128px. Okay, I think that size would be fine. So just simply click on this free download. Okay, then you can simply copy that image and paste it in that student management system folder. So here I'll change it to logo.png. Okay, so this is that image. So I'll simply mention the same image here, logo.png. So this is how you import an image. After importing the image, now you need to create a label, and on that label you need to add this image. So I'll be using label class to create a label. This label will be inside this login frame. Okay, because we created this login frame as a container to add label and some text, username, password and button inside this particular frame only. Okay, so we will simply mention that we want this label to be inside this login frame. So I'll give some name to this label. It can be logo label. Okay, after that I'll be adding image on this label, so I'll mention the image name, which is logo image, like this, and then I can simply place it on our window. After creating the label, you have to place it also, right? Because if you run at this stage, you won't be able to see that label. So in order to place, we can use either this place method, or we have some more methods which you can use in order to place. One is this grid also. So you can use this grid method. Here you need to mention the row value and column value. So we will be mentioning row value as 0 and column value as 0. Why row value and column value are 0? Because inside this login frame, this is the first thing getting added. Okay, before this logo label there was nothing inside this login frame, so I'm adding this logo label first thing inside this frame, so that's why it will be at row 0 and column 0. So inside this grid method we have to mention row and column value. Inside this place method we'll have to mention x and the y coordinate value. Okay, so if I'll run, now you can see this is that logo label that we added. Okay, I think this size is little bit smaller, so what you can do, you can go back to flat icon and instead of 125 you can download 256. I think this will be much bigger. Let's see how does it look. So I'll simply copy it and I will paste here, or you can simply download from the description. Okay, that 150 cross 150 png, or if you want to resize it, you can resize the images as well using paint or some online tool. Yeah, so this is the image that we are getting here. Okay, so if you think this is fine, then you can use it or you can simply resize it. So let me just tell you how you can resize any image. Okay, so the image that I have downloaded, it's in my download folder. I'll simply open this with paint. Okay, and then here you see this resize option. You can go to this pixels and from here you can change it to 150 or 160, whatever size you choose. Okay, and then simply click on OK and then simply click save. Okay, or you can use shortcut key Control S. Once you save it, now you can copy it again and then you can paste it. So this will be logo.png and I'll simply overwrite the previous one. Now if I run it, yeah, so this is the size that we are getting here. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So after adding this, now we need to add two labels, okay, with some text on it. So let me just run the previous project. So you can see this was the image. If you want to use this image, you can use it also. So after adding the logo image, next is we need to add these two labels, and on these two labels this time we have text along with the image. Okay, we have image firstly and then we have text on that label. Okay, and its corresponding entry field. So let's see how we can create it. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to create again a label and it will be username label this time. Okay, and it will be created with the help of a label class only, and this label has to be inside our login frame, right? And this time instead of adding image on a label, I will be adding text, and the text would be username. I actually want to add image also, just like you saw in this original one. Firstly we have the image and then we have the text, so both things we need to add this time. So I'll be adding image also on it. Okay, so I need to add image here, so we need to import image, but before importing we need to get that image. So again we'll be going to that particular flat icon website, and from there we can search for username. Okay, and see, this is the one that I think I have used in my original project, or you can download any of your choice, it's up to you. Okay, let me use this colorful one. From here you can select the size. Let me just check what size I have used in my original one. uh, yeah, it's 32 cross 32 png, so I'll download this 32px. So you can simply download it. then copy it and paste it, user.png with the name. Okay, then you need to import it. So way is, you have to use photo image class. You need to pass the file name, and the file name is user.png. Okay, and this image will now be represented with this variable name, username image. Okay, and this variable can be used here, username image, like this. So now if I will run, you won't be able to see anything. Can you tell me why is that? Because we just created the label, but we have not placed it on our window, right? So let's place it. So we'll write username label dot grid method. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm using grid method here and not place. So I'll mention row value as 1 and column value as 0. Let's see what will happen. So now if I run it, you see this was our logo image, and then this is our username image. So we are only seeing this username image, but we are not able to see the text. Why is that? So we are just seeing the image, but we are not able to see the text. So in order to see both text and image, we need to pass one argument here, which is compound. Okay, and its value would be left or right. So if you want to see the image on the left hand side of this text, then you will pass left here, otherwise right. So now if I run, so you can see we are able to see the image and text, right? Let me increase let me increase the size of this particular text. Okay, so I'll provide some font to it. So let me move it to a new line, and here I'll mention the font, and font has to be mentioned in the form of a tuple, meaning inside parenthesis. Okay, so the font that I am going to use is Times New Roman. This is the styling. After that we need to mention the size. So size is 20 px. Uh, Size is 20 px. Okay, 20 pixels, and then I'll make the text as bold, like this. So now if I'll run, you will see the change in the font, right? Just after this username, okay, we need to create its corresponding entry field, okay, where you will enter the username. So in order to create entry field, we will be using entry class. Okay, so you can see how easy it is, how what easiness this module is providing us. With the help of this module, we are able to use the classes and the methods, okay, with the help of which we are able to create graphical user interface very easily, right? So here we are using this entry class, and where you want to see this entry class on inside this login frame. So we'll pass login frame, and we'll give some name to this entry class. So it can be username entry. Okay, and then you can simply place it. So username entry dot grid method, and this time the row value will remain 1. Why 1? Because it has to be just next to this username label, right? So that's why row is same, only the column value will change. So column will become 1. Here column is 0, and here the column will become 1. Now if I run it, you see we are getting the entry field here. Okay, but this is not looking nice. What is happening here? This logo image, which was set at row 0 and column 0, is taking column 0 space. Okay, because column 1 is starting from this position where we have added this entry field, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to provide 2 column spaces to this logo image or logo label. Okay, so to this grid method, I'm going to pass column span of 2. Okay, so what this column span will do, this logo label will now take two column spaces, right? Column 0 and column 1. So it will take two column spaces like this. Okay, so this is taking two column spaces now. I hope this is clear to you. So the text that I'm entering inside this entry field is not looking good. So I need to provide some font to this text. So I'll simply copy this font from here. It will be the same font. And I am going to paste it inside this entry class like this. Now if I run it, yeah, so this is how it looks. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. And also you can set the background color of this frame to white so that it can match with the background image. Okay, so where we have created that frame, yeah, so this is our login frame, right? Here I'll change the background color to white so that it can match with the background image. Now if I run it, you see now everything is white. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Now I want to see some spacing between this logo image and this entry field or this username label. Okay, so in order to see some vertical spacing, what we can do, to this grid method, I'll pass pad y. Okay, so it will provide some vertical spacing. So I'm going to give 10 pixels vertical spacing. Similarly to this grid method also, pad y equals to 10 px, and similarly to this entry field, pad y equals to 10. Now if I run it, you will see some spacing, right? This is the spacing. Similarly, I want to see some spacing between this username and this entry field. So I'll add pad x between these two. So here I'll mention pad x equals to 20, and similarly here also I can add pad x equals to 20. See these values, it's up to you what value you want to give. It's up to you. Okay, so this is the padding that I have added. Another thing that I would like to add here is the background color of this label. I want to set it to white so that it can match with this image only. So this is our username label, right? After providing the font, I'll set the background color to white like this, bg equals to white. So now you can see the background color is white here. Okay, after that I will be providing some border to this entry field. So for adding border, we just need to add bd equals to 5. Okay, so 5 pixel border will be added like this. I hope this is clear to you. Okay, now the text that you are typing is coming in black color. If you want to change the text color, you can do that too. So for changing the text color, you will have to use FG, and here you can mention the color name. So color name can be any name like royal blue. Okay, let me tell you what colors you can use in Tkinter. You can use a lot of colors. So just go to Google and search for Tkinter color. Okay, so these are the images that you can download. So any one out of these you can download, and you can check the colors which you can use in this Tkinter. Okay, so from there only, this was one of the color royal blue that I'm using here. So now if I run it, if I type, you will see that this is the royal blue color. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Just like we created this username and its corresponding entry field, in the same way we will have to create password and its corresponding entry field. So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to copy these 3 lines and I will make the changes, because the changes are only minor changes. Okay, so I'll paste here. Right now if I'll run, you won't see the changes because the new label and entry field is simply overlapped on this previous one, right? Because row value and column value is not changed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the row value to 2, and here also row value will be 2. Now if I run it, you'll see the same thing here. Okay, so I don't want to use the same thing, so what I'll do, I'll change the username text to password. Okay, and then I will be adding one password image here, so let me just change the name to password image. Okay, so let me just download the password image first. So I'll go to Google, same website, pixels.com, oh sorry, flaticon.com, and here instead of username, this time I'll search for password, and just download whichever you like. Okay, so I'm gonna download this one. Once this is downloaded, I'll copy it and I'm gonna paste it. So this one will be password.png, like this. Now you can replace this user.png with password.png. Okay, and here instead of username image, this time it will be password image. Okay, and you also need to replace these username label to password label. Okay, so you can place multiple cursors in Pycharm with the help of Alt key and mouse left button. Okay, so when you press Alt key and mouse left button, you will see multiple cursors blinking. Okay, and then you can do the change. So it will be password label, right? Everything else I think will remain as it is for this password label. And here inside this entry field, I need to change the variable name. So instead of user entry, this time it will become password entry. Everything else will remain as it is. So now if I run it, you see we are getting username, its entry field, password, and its entry field, right? So I hope this is clear to you. At the end, we want login button, right? So let's quickly create that login button. So in order to create a button, we will be using a button class, and this button has to be inside my login frame, right? And you want to see some text on it, right? So the text would be login, like this. Okay, and let me just give some name to this button. It will be login button, right? And then I'll simply place it on my window. So I'll use grid method. So this time this has to be at row number 3. Why row 3? Because at row 2 we already had this password entry, right? And this password label. So this time it will be at row 3, just below this password entry and password label. Okay, and column will be 1 or 0, wherever you want to see it. So if I run it, so if you want to see it here, you can put it here, but I think if you will add it at column 1, then it would look better, like this. Okay, so let me just provide some font to this text. So I'm simply going to copy this font from here and I'll paste here. Let me change the font size to 14. Now if I run it, you see this is how it looks. Okay, and if you want to add some vertical padding, you can do that. Like if you want, you can provide some pad by 10, so you'll see some spacing. Okay, after that we can also increase its width, button width. So let me just add some widths here. So width will be 15 pixels. So if I run it, yeah, so this is how it looks. Okay, I can also provide some background color. Okay, And the text color, so let me change the text color to white. So let me just move it to a new line, and here FG, which is nothing but the text color, I'll change it to white. Okay, and the background color, uh, let me just add some background color to this button, and the background color I'm gonna give as corn flower blue. Okay, this is the color that you can check on that particular image that I asked you to download. Okay, now if I run it, you can see this is the background color, corn flower blue. Okay, and white is the text color. So this is how it looks, and you see when I'm clicking on it, you are able to see that black color and that white color. Okay, so these are known as active background and active foreground color. Okay, so if you want to see the same color when you click on the button, okay, so you will mention the active background as the corn flower blue. Okay, now if you'll click on it, you will see the background color same. Okay, similarly if you want to see the text color also same, so you'll mention active foreground as white. So you can do that. Let me move it to a new line, active foreground equals to white, like this. Okay, now one more thing that I would like to add here, if I bring my mouse pointer on this button, it should change to hand symbol. For that, I'll mention cursor equals to hand 2. So this is the value. Okay, so now if I bring my mouse pointer on this button, it is changing to hand symbol. So I hope this is clear to you. So this is how I have designed this login system in my original project. So I hope this is clear to you how you have to design it. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. Now let's work on the functionality of it. Like when I'm not entering anything and I'm directly clicking on this login button, I should see an error message box which says that fields cannot be empty. Okay, and then when I enter some wrong details here and click on this login button, it should say that incorrect details. Okay, but if I enter the correct details and click on this login button, it should display me a message box that login successful. Okay, and then it should redirect to that student management system page. Okay, that we yet need to create. Okay, so firstly, let's see if the fields are blank and we click on that login button, we should see that fields are required. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide a command to this uh, login button. Okay, so whenever you will be clicking on this login button, this particular command will be called. So this is nothing but a function that I'm going to define. Okay, so function name I'm giving as login. So I'll define this function at the top, just after these import lines. So here I'll write def login, like this. So when you will click on that button, okay, this function will be called, and whatever you will write inside this function, that code will be executed. So for now I have simply written print hello. So when you will click on that login button, you will see hello getting printed on the console, right, like this. Okay, but we don't have to print hello. What we have to do here, we have to check that if entry fields are empty or not, right? So which are the entry fields? Entry fields are named as username entry and password entry, right? So we'll use these variable names here, as these variables are simply defining those particular entry fields, right? So I'll use username entry dot get method. Okay, so we are simply getting whatever is there on the username entry field. Okay, if there is nothing, means if there is nothing, it means it will be equal to null, right? This is nothing but null. So if there will be nothing, then this condition will become true. Okay, or password entry dot get. Okay, I'll check this one also, that if this is also equal to null or not. So if both of them will be null, then this condition will become true, or any one out of these two will be null, then this condition will become true. Okay, so if any one is null, then also this condition will become true. If both of them are null, then also this condition will become true. In that case, I will display a message box. Okay, so in order to display a message box, you need to import it. So the way of importing is from Tkinter import message box. So this message box is additional module which is there inside this Tkinter module. So this is the way of importing it. Okay, so inside this message box only we have some methods which help us in displaying message box, some information message box, some error message box. Okay, like that. So we'll be using this module and we need to display error message box. So we will use this show error method, and to this show error method we need to pass two things. First is the title and the second is the method. So the title that I'm going to use is error. Okay, that you will see at the top on the title bar. Then the message would be fields cannot be empty. Fields cannot be empty. Empty, like this. Okay, so now if I'll run it, right now both the fields are null, right? Both the fields are null, and if I click on it, you see fields cannot be empty, right? If I fill one and keep the other one as empty and click on login, still it says fields cannot be empty, right? But if I enter in both the fields and now I click on login, nothing, we are not seeing that message box, right? So if this condition will become true, then only we will be seeing this message box. Otherwise we won't be able to see anything because we have not written any code after that, right? Okay, so next condition that we need to apply is to check whether the user has entered the correct details or not. So we will check another condition. So we'll use elif username entry dot get. Okay, if this is equals to Faizan, or your name you can write. Okay, so if this will be equal to Faizan, okay, and password entry dot get will be equals to 1234. If both of them will be true, then only this condition will become true. Means if the username will write, if inside username field you will write Faizan and inside password field you will write 1234, then only this condition will become true. If you will write Faizan but password has 123456, then this condition will become false. Okay, if you will write correct password but wrong username, then also this condition will become false. So this will only be true when you will write both the things correctly, right? Username and password both has to be correct. In that case, I will simply display a message box. So I will simply show info. Okay, and here again we need to pass the title. So I'll pass the title as success. Okay, and I'll mention welcome. Okay, that's it. So now if I run it, so if I don't enter anything and click on login, you are seeing fields cannot be empty. If I enter the username as Faizan but password as something random, okay, this is incorrect, this is correct, so still nothing is happening, right? But if I enter the correct username and correct password, so something is wrong. Why we are not able to see the message box? I think we have written the correct thing. Okay, here you can see the F is capital. I was writing F as small, right? So I need to write F as capital here, and the password will be 1234. So if both the fields are correct, then only you will see that success message box, okay, that welcome. So once I click on OK, I should see another window. Okay, so that code we will be writing in next video. Okay, but what if the username and the passwords are incorrect? In that case, we'll simply move to the else part. Okay, and in the else part, I'll display a message box dot show error. Again, I'll show the error message box. The title will be error only, and the message would be please enter correct credentials. Okay, now if I run it, if I enter wrong username and wrong password, if I click on login, it says please enter correct details, credentials. Okay, if I enter correct username but wrong password, still it will say the same thing, right? Let me just capitalize it, right? If I enter both things correctly, then only you will see the success message box. And once I'll click OK, I should see another window. So that code we will be writing in the next video. Okay, the student management system code here. So I hope till here everything is clear to you. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.